If you followed along last time, you have now your own powerful automation engine, n8n, running on your machine. But that's of course not real work. Cleaning your inbox though, that's real work. And that's what we're going to build in this video. We're going to build one of the most satisfying kind of bots, which is the one that cleans your inbox while you're asleep. So let's build it. Hey guys, thanks for joining again. As mentioned, in this video we're going to build an automatic email cleaner. It will basically be running at all times, and every time you receive an email, it will check whether this email is actually important or not. And depending on that, it will put it in the corresponding folder and leave just the ones that you should actually take care of in your inbox, and send you a message on Telegram so that you don't forget to follow up on that email. Let me first show you how it works, and then we will go right into building it ourselves. So here on n8n, as you can see, I have already an email pinned, which basically means I grabbed the one email that I tried it with and left it there so that it doesn't go away. That way I don't have to send myself 20 emails to just test it a couple of times. And so if I click now on execute workflow, you'll see how it works. It basically grabs the email and then checks it with the AI agent that we have, looks for the labels that we have on the email as it gets into your inbox, and then it checks whether it should add a label or remove a label. In your Gmail, this means the folder that it will be going into. If it then sees that it has to remove one, it removes it, and if it sees that it has to add one, it adds it, and so on. It goes through a filter to see whether it's an important email or not, and then if it would have been an important email, it would have sent us a message through Telegram. As you can see here, for example, the AI agent saw this email as not important, which is why it's not communicating to us that we got a new email. You see here it's set to false. As you can see here, look, it puts it in the category promotions. And so since this was a promotional email, it decided not to send it to me, so I don't get bothered with something that I don't have to look into. Okay, now let's build our one. So on a blank page, what we can do now, let's first drag the Gmail node into it. It will check every minute whether a new email was received. Then in the next step, we can connect the AI agent, which is almost pre-built here in n8n. And then we can connect the filter, just so we filter out the things that we don't need. And lastly, we can add the Telegram node. And it will be send a text message. Okay, and that's basically it. Before we run this, we need three things. We need to make sure that the AI agent has its brain. We need to give it tools to action with. And then for the Telegram node, we need to tell it where it needs to send us something. So let's go with the easy bits first. We need to give our agent a brain. You have all these different AI nodes from different providers. So basically what you need is to decide which provider you want to use. There's OpenAI, there's Anthropic, there's Google, a bunch. And so you can basically decide. I usually use Gemini because it's for free when you get things started. And then when you start, it's also, I think, one of the cheapest. So definitely try it out yourself. So what we're gonna do is search here for the brain and Google. And then you see here, Gemini chat model. Take the first one. The second one is a bit more complex, so just take this one. And then usually I use the 2.5 Flash, which is the one that we have selected here. Okay, now let's add the first tools to this. We will need a tool to get all the labels that we have already at our disposal. For the resource, go to labels, get many, and then return all. Okay, so this will basically return all the labels that you have available in your Gmail account. Here is where you also have to make sure that you do the work before, because you do have to sort the inbox yourself to begin with, so that it is a clean start for the bot, because it will not sort anything in the past. It will sort only whatever comes in next. So if you want to have a clean inbox, you will have to sort it out yourself first. And then when it's clean, you can start using this, which will keep it clean forever. Just so you see what this tool does, I loaded up an email that I received. And then when we click on execute, you will see how this actually works. So let me show you. Okay, so basically it read the email, it sent the email to the AI agent, which you can see here. This is the input that the AI agent got. It gets like the snippet of the email, a bunch of other stuff that is not interesting. It gets the subject of the email and from who it was. The email was already identified as promotion, but as you can see here, it's also labeled as inbox. So this means it's going to go to your inbox even though you don't need to have it in your inbox. Then in the AI agent, what I've done as well is I set this to define below. That way I can give it a message for myself. And I just told it to please check all the labels that we have. And this is what it does. So it just looks for the tool that it has. And then as you can see here, it gets all the labels that we have available in our Gmail account. And this is basically how Gmail works. If your email gets labeled with something, it will go to that folder. So if it's labeled as inbox, it will stay in your inbox, and so on. If we want to remove it from the inbox, we have to remove the inbox label from that email, and then it will only have the promotional label. That way it will stay just in the folder promotions. This obviously didn't work yet because we haven't set up any filters and we haven't set up any message either. It's basically for you to see how it gets the labels. Now, we can do this for all the tools that we add. We can just change this to test how the tools are being used and what output they generate, and therefore what intelligence the AI will have, so we know what it can work with. Next, as mentioned, we need something to remove the label from an email. This time we select resource message, and then in operation we say remove label. We need the message ID, which, as you can see here, we get it already here. So what we can do is just drag it into here. Okay, we have the message ID. And then we need the label name or ID. I would suggest you pick the ID because it's more specific and will always be the specific ID. You can obviously create a tool for each of your labels. That way it's always going to be that one, and you can then name it remove inbox label. But this is a bit too tedious. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this button here. So you give the AI the freedom to just put in here the name or the ID of the label that it wants to remove. What we can do to make it more precise though, what I recommend is click here on add description and you say enter the ID of the label that you want to remove. And that way it knows that it should use the ID and that it's the ID of the label that it needs to remove, just to make sure that it understands it's going to remove it. And here it already says it's going to remove a label from a message, which is fine. So we can leave it like this. And we have our second tool. Let's move it over here. Now, let's go for our third, which is then logically add a label. Gmail, message is fine. And then instead we do add a label. Same thing here, you drag the ID over here that you want to let it know here. Enter the ID of the label that you want to add. And that's it. Now you have a total of 3 tools that are already probably enough to let this work. So we're going to keep it like this. And then I'm going to show you the next steps. If you want to clean up a bit your workflow, you can always click this button here, and then it will make it a bit more organized. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not. So I usually click it to see what happens, and if I like it, I leave it, and if not, I'll change it. Then this will for now do always the same, which is check for all the labels that we have. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is tell the AI what it should do actually with each email that it receives. I'm going to leave the prompt in the description. A really easy prompt that you can use to get started is the following. Check the email that you received and make sure that it only stays in my inbox if it is something important that I should reply to, or something time sensitive like an event that I should attend. Then right now you see we already have available the email that we received, but the AI cannot see it just like that. You have to actually give it the information that you want it to have. Usually the important things that it needs is the ID. So just do email ID, you drag the ID into here. Okay, there you go. Now you have the email ID in subject. So you scroll down until you see the subject, drag it in as well. That way you can more or less understand what it's about. Then I would also suggest adding the from, so it's from. And then we will also need the labels. You see there's all the labels here. So just give it the whole list and it will understand what it is. Now, to make sure that this actually works and that the AI has what it needs, what you can do is click on this button here and you will see how the AI will see it. So basically the AI will see this text while you see this one. So the email ID, it will receive it like this, it will get the subject, it will get the sender, and it will get all the labels. But you can see here, the labels are actually not showing properly. So what we can do to fix it is labels dot to JSON string. This is just a tip from my side. So, and as you can see here, this fixes it, and now it works. Then the next thing I always recommend to enable that requires specific output format, because then you really know that you can calculate better what the output of the AI will be, because this enables us. You see now you have a output parser. So you click on it and select the last one, the structured output parser. And here what you can do is just tell it what it should output and in what format it should do it. You have an example already, but it is really simple. You just say, we want a response from the AI. So response, this email has been moved to the inbox because it is important. Okay, for example, this is just to give it an example of how it should look like when it outputs something. And then another thing we want to know, for the filter, we need something to tell us, is it important or not? So what we can do actually is really simple. We can just say inbox and then remove this, true, for example. That way, if inbox is true, we know that it got into our inbox and it is something that we should take a look into. Since we do have now the main things updated, what we can do is the following. Save it and then try and run it again. Let's see how it looks. Let's take a look what it did. It removed the label. If you then want to see what the AI did, you can click on it. You see from the AI, you can see what the AI put into this field, and it put inbox into this field, which means it removed the label inbox, meaning it saw the email, it saw that it was just a promotional email, and it removed the label filter. Then let's check the output that we got from the AI. You see here the output that we wanted it to maintain. We have a response and we have the inbox label. This is the response we got. The email with the subject blah, 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 blah has been successfully moved out of your inbox, which means it sets inbox to false. This means in the filter, we can now set up that if it's true, it gets sent to us on Telegram. And if it's false, we don't get anything because it's not important for us to review. In the filter, we put the inbox in here. And then we have here a Boolean, which in programming language basically means yes or no. And then what we need to select is if it's true. So if the inbox is set to true, then we want to receive our Telegram message. If you look into it again, when I run this again, you can see that there's no line here anymore because it did not let it go through. You see here, discarded items. We have one discarded email because we don't need to look into that one. If this would have been an important email, it would have said inbox to true and then send it along to us on Telegram. For the last part, let's set up the Telegram node. This one is a bit technical to set up, but definitely the easiest way to set up something, because WhatsApp, for example, is way more complicated. I recommend using Telegram. You can set up WhatsApp as well. It's just a bit more technical. There's still a lot of tutorials on the internet if you want to take a look into them. Then when we finally get through the filter, we want to receive a Telegram message. How do we do that? Well, we have to first set up our first Telegram bot. We now go to Telegram. Now, this is already mine working for me, as you can see here. What we will need then is the following. You will need to search for bot father. And then when you find it, you just start it like here. This is not the bot father, but you just start it like it says here. I already have it, so I don't have to search for it. When you do the slash, you can then say new bot, and then you have to decide how you want to call it. Let's just call it test n8n workflow, okay? Like this. Now let's choose a username for your bot. It must end in bot. As it says here, Tetris_bot. So what we'll do is my n8n test emailing bot. Okay, and now you have your bot created, and you can see here, this is the API that you need. You just click on it, which copies it into your clipboard, and then you go into here, click on create new credential, and add the token in here. Then when you save it, it will check it, and we'll see if it's okay. If it's connected successfully, you know that it works. Now, we also do need a chat ID. We need to first create a chat with that bot that we just created, and then we need to pass the ID of the chat to this node. How do we do that? So now when you have your bot created, you click on this link here. That way you can theoretically already start to talk with it, but we go here and do create group. Now you have a group with that bot, call it whatever you want. We need to add then the bot, the ID bot. Okay, great. And now we need to update their permissions. We need to tell them that they're administrators. So you add the ID bot and you add the test bot. You can then do /get ID, and then you get an ID here, which you just copy by clicking on it. Then you go back to n8n, go into your Telegram node, paste it in, and then let's do test message, and that's it. Now, I have updated this so that it sounds very important. You see, I have updated the subject line to be something very important. It's a meeting that we have to discuss, so please join, whatever. So let's see if this is enough for it to let it through. Okay, it was not enough. Please keep it in the inbox at all cost. So this is very excessive, but let's see if it works. Save, and let's execute it. There you go, and you see it got to your Telegram node because the filter said inbox true. If you go to your emailing chat, you see test, because we said to send test. Now, instead of sending test, we can add the response here of our AI, and that way we receive the response. Let's test it again, just clicking on playing this one. You can see that we receive the email will stay in your inbox as it appears to be important and time sensitive. Cool, right? You now can save it and activate it. You have now a bot that always listens to your emails and just organizes your inbox as they come in. So take this as an invite to build on this very basic workflow with just a couple of tools. You saw mine that has quite some more tools available, and I've also updated the system prompt in it and so on. I will leave my personal one in the description below so you can just play around with it yourself. But trust me, what I would do is just take the one that we built in the video together and try to optimize it yourself for your needs, because in the end we all might receive different kind of emails that we feel are important for us. So tell the AI really what is important for you so it better understands when it should filter something out or not. And with that, you already have now all the power that you need in your hands. Let me know in the comments below what workflow you would want to see in the next video. And until then, subscribe, leave a like, turn on the bell, and see you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.